Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to Comedy, the podcast that helps you find new, emerging, and undiscovered independent comedy podcasts. I'm Greg, the host and curator of comedy. Today's episode is from Thre3 Bucks. Clippity clop. Thre3 Bucks is a podcast hunting for stocks, NFTs, and crypto with a comedic flavor. If you like today's episode, make sure to check out the episode description for links to subscribe. All right, let's get this show started.
Begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's show. We are your Thre3 Bucks. Eric, Teej, and B. How's it going, guys?
I feel hopeful after, the very lucky Friday the 13th we had on the market.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very hopeful after that day. It was a lot of bludgeoning to that point. I still think it was a relief bounce. I don't think I'm too excited just yet. What do you think?
You walk into that day and you're thinking it's going to be a bloodbath, right? It's Friday the 13th. Yeah. There's no way people aren't going to die.
Well, yeah, the market's pretty much been Camp Crystal Lake for all year so far, right? So I'm just expecting today's the day Jason's going to get me. But
it's typically a lot of options expire on Fridays as well. They definitely could have been a very bad day.
Yeah, it definitely could have been, but it was very far green. It kind of reminded me of something that came out recently where it was the Tree of Life green coming out of crevices.
coming out of the crevice.
You guys know what I'm referring to, right? With the Madonna releasing her NFT.
Oh my gosh.
I thought it was beautiful. What did you think, Teej?
It was something. It was
the artwork was phenomenal.
I had a feeling it wasn't TV PG when I think I saw it on a Yahoo page or something, and it was oh, Madonna releases her NFT, but they won't show anywhere on there that what it is, and it's it just has a link I have to click to go to a third party to see it.
Oh yeah, it's a wrap.
I was like, oh god, what am I about to watch?
XXX.io.
I'm honestly surprised that Twitter and Instagram is actually showing it fully.
Well, what's crazy is she's been mentioning that she was going to do it, which I'll give her credit for her age. Trying to stay on top of the trend I'll give her credit, but I thought maybe it was just going to be a little, because she is singing a song in it.
Yeah.
So, and right now, the whole music NFT idea.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking okay, she might do a little private drop to her fans,
It was very unique.
It was private.
B, tell me, what symbolism did you pull from it? When you watched it, how did it make you feel? What did you think?
It just made me feel like she started off as, what are those, a caterpillar, right?
So it made you think of a caterpillar.
And it started off, it was almost like evolution, you know what I mean? She accomplished the tree of life. She started off as a caterpillar, she turned into a butterfly, and then I'm not entirely sure how the tree starts, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing.
What do you think, Teej? If I pass that question to you, how did it make you feel? Did it make you feel like butterflies?
I was I was just confused. I was watching it and I was like, wow, I better I don't know if I'm looking around and will my wife allow me to watch something like this?
She comes flying out of the room.
I love this song. What are you watching? I'm
quickly flip into Smash Bros real quick so she doesn't think that he's no good.
Yeah, I'm just doing research for the podcast. I saw NFT. I'm trying to look it up. Oh boy.
We have a lot to uncover this show. We've had a wild ride with the cryptocurrency, so we do have to discuss the markets. We also have potential uptick in acquisitions over the next half of the year. And lastly, we have the hunts of the week. So stay tuned and jump into the woods with us. Let's go.
Hey guys, we're going to talk about a lot of great stocks on today's show. Keep in mind that none of these are buy-sell recommendations. These are for entertainment and educational purposes only. This week's impacts on your daily buck. CPI inflation numbers came in lower at 8.3%, but they're still high. Elon Musk puts the Twitter acquisition temporarily on hold, pending details on spam and fake accounts. Crypto market crash was a trending topic with the collapse of Terra and Luna, leading to a sell-off in Bitcoin. Has it shaken the confidence of crypto traders? Airfare numbers came in plus 18.6%, which is the highest month over month ever, while food at home prices came in at 10.8% up, highest since November 1980. With the Friday the 13th market bounce, have we carved a bottom? This and more on how it affects your daily buck.
Hey guys, Friday the 13th was actually a really big day for us. It probably saved a lot of our weeks. You know, we're still down overall from the start of the week. The 4 days up until Friday was an absolute bloodbath. So ironically enough, the 13th was a great day for us, even though it probably only ends up being like 1%.
Yeah, who would have thought on Friday the 13th that we'd actually have a lucky day on the market? But I think it's not to take away from the fact, like you were alluding to, we still closed down in the week. So we actually still were worse than where we started last week.
It's weird though, because, you know, you get those, it's like feeding you crumbs, right? It keeps you invested. You're like, okay, I still have a little hope. Right at the end of the week, you got some FOMO coming in. You got people jumping in. So for me, I needed it. I needed it just to stay motivated to even open up that application.
Like, how different is your weekend going to be now that you had a Green Friday?
And yet you're still lower than you were probably on Monday.
That's where the psychology kicks in.
It's just
right?
it's just an illusion. It's
you're
just
down
illusion.
20% for that 1% day. You're like, yes.
Yeah. Hey man, I'll take it because I look forward to the weekend, right? So at least now I can have a good weekend. And I always hate Mondays, and then we're gonna be in another bloodbath probably on Monday.
Yeah, because look, as much as the markets boomed on Friday, dude, hear this out. I mean, the broader market on the S&P 5-day was still minus 1.4%.
Yeah.
The tech stocks and the NASDAQ, they were still minus almost 1%, 0.99 on the 5-day trend. So, I mean, we're still worse off, but we feel a lot better about it.
Well, it's like we were saying too about the inflation. You know, we were speculating coming into the week, like, watch the market bounce, even though, you know, because the inflation went down 0.3%.
Yeah. So very, very fractionally.
The market's looking for like the smallest things to bounce on right now.
I mean, I view it as like, let's say, you know, someone was controlling the amount of food you could eat, and they're like, you get no food for the next 4 days. Well, then on the 5th day, they're like, you get a full plate of food. You're going to feel pretty happy.
But you've been starved.
Suckered,
You've lost more weight. You still weigh less come Friday, right? But you're happy.
You're so satisfied on that Friday. You forget about the other 4 days.
But yeah, I mean, even with the inflation numbers that accompanied those, we had airfare that was up 18.6% month over month, which is the highest ever in terms of a month over month increase, 18.6%. And I just thought that was interesting because there's a lot of pent up travel demand going on for the rest of the outlook of this year. Like, 'cause people are trying to make up for lost time. I mean, a lot of people just feel like 2 years like disappeared out of their life with the 2020 and 2021 shutdowns. People want to travel, but now it's almost like a push and pull effect. Do you think like people are going to really want to travel this much? Like if airfare is going to go up 18%, it's kind of a push and pull thing, right?
I view it like the housing market right now. I mean, at a certain point, it becomes a need. Like you want to leave where you are, and people need houses. They're still paying astronomical prices to get a house. I want to leave the state. I want to go travel. I want to enjoy myself. I'm going to pay an astronomical amount. And it might actually link over to the food. It's the food right now to buy it at home. It's increased 10.8%.
Yeah. And I notice it because I'm a penny pincher, which is why I like my dividend stocks.
Right.
I like getting paid the little dividends on the side. I notice it because I don't eat out. I don't really eat out at all. I probably eat out like once a month. And we're just avid grocery shoppers. But I notice it. How is our bill just keeps going up and up? Like, especially when I'm buying ground beef and I'm like, how is this?
Exactly.
Like,
so now you're going to be inclined to fly somewhere because it's cheaper to eat out. Right? You're like, at least I'm saving money on food going out to a steakhouse because it's going to be expensive for a...
Not necessarily. Those materials.
You could just fly to Peru and get a very cheap meal there. Very cheap.
Yeah, like a rat sandwich or something.
Yes, guinea pig. Speaking from experience.
B is actually well versed on that. So I've just been
there. Well versed on what? Rat sandwiches?
No, just literally like boiled guinea pig. They don't even get rid of the teeth.
Or are they boiled? Well, like, what do you do?
They're not fried. They're boiled. They still have their teeth and eyes. I kid you not.
Sounds tasty.
They leave the head on, and it's not tasty. It's very,
Us Bucks aren't going to advocate for other animals being eaten. Okay, so we're gonna.
This is like what that movie Demolition Man with where he's in the sewers and he's eating a burger. And he's like, man, this is the best burger I've had in years. It's like a futuristic movie. And they're like, you don't see any cows around here, right? He's like, it's a rat burger? He's like, well, it's still the best burger I've had in years.
Take what you can get.
Yeah. Elon Musk, guys, Twitter, temporarily on hold. He did tweet, there's a lot of media going like, oh, Twitter, Elon puts Twitter on hold, acquisition on hold over it's the spam accounts. There's spam. If you're on Twitter, you've seen it. There's definitely some fake bot accounts. And he wants to validate, is that number of accounts exceeding 5% of the user base or not? But he did follow up a tweet saying he still plans on going through with the acquisition, but the media made it sound like he put the whole deal on hold.
Of course.
Of course.
To be honest, to your point, Teej, if you are a Twitter user, which we are, please go ahead and follow us, Thre3 But anyways, the bots and spam have gotten absolutely out of control. Like a crypto state of mind, if you tweet about MetaMask, 20 or 30 like support, you need help with your MetaMask, sign into this link, we'll help you. Support. I kid you not, like 20 to 30 of them.
Search the
hashtags. I'm gonna reply to one of your tweets and I'm gonna ask you that. Just so
what's disappointing because you check your phone after 20 minutes, you're like yeah, 30 notifications. Yeah,
people
you
like
go in.
us.
Yeah, you're like, we're growing. All right. User base is growing. You go in, and it's 30 bots that are just trying to support you, i.e., steal your crap. So actually, that number, I'm under the impression they're saying that it's less than 5%.
I think the 5% number is what I think maybe what the estimation is. But I was just talking to Eric on the phone before this recording, and I was like, dude, it's got to be more than 5%. Like,
At least it feels like if they are not able to uncover more than 5%, it still feels like there's way more than 5%.
Yeah, it just feels like it's probably plus 10%.
They've gotten out of control. I mean, I've been on Twitter for a little over a year now, and I swear it really didn't seem to start that way. Now they're just absolutely out of control.
I'm going to tell you what we need to get under control. The crypto market.
Dude.
Holy smokes.
Scary stuff, and I'm a huge crypto advocate. So this is tokenomics, DYOR 101.
Yeah, so we're talking about Luna and Terra.
And the UST
stable.
Yep. Yeah.
The collapse even if you don't even know what crypto is, you probably heard about it. It's been everywhere because it indirectly or directly, however you want to put it, affected Bitcoin too. It kind of and it honestly sucked a lot of confidence, consumer confidence,
trust,
the crypto
liquidity.
Market.
Yeah.
So, do you want to break down what happened here with the Luna Terra crash for people that don't know?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and dive in on that. So, in its simplest form, Terra is a blockchain, much like Ethereum is a blockchain. Ethereum has a native token, which is, in this case, Ethereum, and Terra has a native token, Luna, okay? In addition to Luna, there's also the UST, which is a stable coin, comparable to USDT and USDC, basically your digital dollar.
Right.
In this case, what happened is somebody took a loan out from an exchange for a great quantity of Bitcoin and reached out to the developer of USDC and Luna and said, hey, I want to swap 25,000 Bitcoins into UST, which is an algorithmic stablecoin. It's different from USDT or USDC. And the developer says, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. We'll do that for you. And he did so, giving the hacker a large part of liquidity in the blockchain. And the hacker dumped everything, which caused, a cascade event, which everybody panicked, and UST was depegged.
Yeah, they're calling it the great attack on Luna. I think the biggest thing about this is it was supposed to be a stable coin.
That's so stable.
Well, right. I mean, that's
no, unfortunately.
The opposite.
Yeah, it's but that was the promise, right? And so you have folks that are highly convicted. I'm sure you've all seen maybe some commentary on the socials. There were some folks that had their life savings in there, So this was definitely a very serious event. We're not poking any fun at like what happened here. This is very serious. But the biggest thing I think that came out of it was this event with Luna and Terra crashing has really put cracks in the larger crypto foundation, no matter what coin folks are highly convicted for, because it obviously indirectly impacted Bitcoin. But you saw crypto crash. It was trending on Twitter this week, right?
To Teej's point, it indirectly affected Bitcoin. There was a sell-off in Bitcoin, which indirectly affects all these protocols that rely on Bitcoin and even Luna in this case for their reserves. So it was kind of a crippling event. Probably lost a lot of consumer trust in the overall space.
Well, B, where's your trust at?
Yeah, I still have full faith in the space and the industry in itself. The two coins that stick out for me, Bitcoin and Ethereum, which weigh heavily on the market itself, relative to market cap, aren't going anywhere. The crypto market has been on a pretty hot run since March of 2020, and went pretty hot until about June of last year, and we kind of just been slowly like cooling off and chopping since then. So really, I think this needed to happen anyways, and was trending towards this being the case. And crypto is very like narrative based too. I think it's kind of like a large reset to an extent.
And we've also had Bitcoin drop in the past. I mean, this was just a little bit more excessive quickly. So I do think that is normal for, the market's going to go up and it's going to go down. So hopefully we can have a nice bounce back in turn.
Eric, how do you feel?
It makes me feel warm inside. I do think that Bitcoin is safe.
Yeah.
Ethereum is safe. So it's not going to really stop me. But this was really an event that was an example of how you could learn about your investing style, right? And diversification can be really important in times like this.
It's a learning and coaching opportunity, honestly, for every investor, every trader. I still think my sentiment has not really changed. You have to be cautious. There's a lot of coins out there right now. It almost seems like maybe there's a little bit of oversaturation with the number of different coins that keep sparking up.
I mean, there's some froth in the market.
Right. What am I doing though? I mean, I actually allocate a percentage of my direct deposit to both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I'm going to continue to do that. That is unchanged. These are opportunistic times.
Yeah, I mean, let's be like, are they going anywhere? Like, you raise your hand here if you think, that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be non-existent within the next 1 or 2 years.
Nobody's raising their hand, by the way.
Yeah, nobody's raising their hand. I mean, and I agree with dollar cost in, buy $20, $10, $5, $1. The beauty of these securities, digital assets, is they're fractional. If you can't afford a whole one, you buy a quarter of one, a tenth of one. It doesn't matter. Just get whatever you can, especially at these prices. Accumulate.
We don't know what the future is going to be, so we don't know if we've hit the low. It could keep going lower, and when you're adding in small amounts at a time, that's the perfect way to get in.
If you're a big believer in Bitcoin, I think we're pretty close to a bottom, because who's selling at these levels? Because in the last year, if you purchase Bitcoin, everybody's down.
Yeah, I'm a holder, so that's a really good question. I'd be interested to see some data on that. Who's
people that are selling right now are selling at a loss. So if you like to realize losses on an annual basis, then by all means, I'm not selling.
Close your eyes. Can you smell that?
no?
Can you taste that?
Taste what?
Can you feel that?
Ooh, I feel my hand clicking like, follow, subscribe to the Thre3 Bucks, and it feels so good.
Let your voices be heard. The Thre3 Bucks are on Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, and more.
If you look at the broader market as a whole, there's some different theories out there on us possibly carving a bottom now. You have a lot of major institutions that are saying we still have some farther to fall.
Of course, yeah. I mean, you need both.
But you have some guys doing some tech analysis saying, well, we might be carving a bottom. Some of these trend lines might start to curl. I think these are opportunistic times, which I want to segue into our merger and acquisitions. And the boots on the ground feel is that there's a lot of it happening. Of course, we know about the big one, the Elon Musk acquiring Twitter.
Or is he?
Right.
However, we have some other big announcements this week. ATVI, a hedge fund company, offered to buy out Ryder Logistics, which is a major supply chain company. They're up there with like the XPOs of the world, the Penske's of the world. In this year, we've also seen a UAE Telecom putting in a 9.8% stake in Vodafone for $4.4 billion, which is a catalyst for a potential buyout.
How about JCPenney buying Kohl's? Doesn't it seem like it should be the other way around?
That's what I thought too. Yeah, because I feel
it was
like
a
everyone
rumor.
goes to Kohl's.
They put in an
I
acquisition.
thought that was a
well,
meme. That was real? How is that possible?
they were trying to buy Kohl's. Yeah, I thought Kohl's had a bigger market.
Kohl's cash, baby, every Christmas.
Yeah, I stay stacking my Kohl's cash.
My wife's always hopped on that.
Dude, Kohl's has been flirting around with being bought out literally for the last 2 years. Amazon has just flirted with the idea. They have like you can return your Amazon packages at Kohl's.
Yep. I don't think that really worked out to their benefit, though. They thought that was going to be bringing people in to shop, and people just leave right after.
Yeah, they need brick and mortar stores to accept all their overwhelming packages.
Yeah.
This is one of many, though. I'm just saying. I mean, there's a lot of them. Microsoft and Activision. I'm sure you've heard about that. You know, Pfizer made an offer to buy, I think, another BioPharm recently. And BioPharms, of course, you know, Eric preys on these.
Yeah, they are acquiring Biohaven, which is a big deal. You know, I mean, obviously we know that Pfizer has been making a bunch of money from their vaccine. They've had a huge growth over the last year. So we knew that they were going to be looking for new revenue streams. Same could be said for Moderna. They might be looking in to try and pull in new revenue streams when the well's running dry.
And that's really where I want to like tie the bow on this is the reason why you're seeing a lot of this, I think, is because the market is kind of at a bottom point. It makes for opportunistic times to swoop in and make acquisitions. My boots on the ground kind of feel is that we may see quite a bit of consolidating through acquisitions more this year than we typically see in a given year because of how cheap they can get the company for based on the premium somebody's going to offer today is probably would have been a normal share price a year or two ago, but now it seems like it's a 20% premium based on the current market conditions.
You also have to consider that right now in 2022, we've been pretty slow with acquisitions. We're starting to see it pick up. Part of the reason we were slow is because of everything going on, right? You have the geopolitical stuff going on. You had COVID still has been lingering a little bit. So a lot of this stuff has slowed down the process of these acquisitions. So we're kind of potentially getting out of the woods. And like you said, people are able to get other companies at technically a discount compared to last year.
Sure. Yes, a discount because a lot of these companies' valuations have been cut in half over the course of the last year.
You've been part of a stock that's been acquired recently, right?
Yeah,
I think we mutually have actually.
We were all part of
all
that.
the Bucks onto it.
It was
man.
a trio, yeah.
You did pull me into that one.
Listen, I don't leave the Bucks behind. You guys know that. At the time when I purchased it, the Score sports app, I didn't even really think about the possibility of them being bought out because they had such a big following in North America. In addition to Canada, my thought process was they'll get the growth organically. This thing's going to take off.
Yeah.
So I was in, and I was a user of the app, and I'm a huge sports fan. It just made a lot of sense, especially with sports betting becoming more popular. They were bought out by PENN National Gaming.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. That was my first experience. I know Eric had one as well.
Yeah, I've had one that went through. So, from my experience, so I was part of STML. It was Stemline Therapeutics, and they were purchased. And that was wonderful. It was just one day. I actually got into them like 3 or 4 days before they were acquired. So it was just luck on my part.
I remember he was just starting off too. I felt like I was jealous. I'm like, this guy just quadrupled this, like one of his first investments.
yeah, that was nice. And then
it's a way to make feel someone real cocky right at the jump.
Oh, he was the BioPharm guy that day forward. You know, so
on top of that, though, I have been a part of one other was AUPH. I'll talk about them a little bit later, but they didn't actually get acquired. It was a rumor. And so one thing I'd like to say is what I learned was you should take some of your profits out, especially on rumors, because, you know, if it falls through, it really does.
Yes,
it does tank. And sometimes those rumors actually punch it up to close to the price it would be acquired at.
Buy rumor, sell news.
Take some of your profits out. You could keep a bag in there.
Yeah, take out your principal.
At least that's my feeling on it.
So here's the thing. With acquisitions possibly picking up, and if the market that starts to curl up a little bit to where carving on a bottom, could these acquisitions pop the market? Obviously, it would pop these individual stocks. And sometimes when it pops these individual stocks, some of the competitor stocks within that industry get a bump in the market. I'm sure you've seen that before.
Yeah, man. It's the same thing with like the Pfizer purchasing Biohaven. Like that leaves less biofarms out there for the other big pharma companies to acquire, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I keep thinking we're gonna go high in Q3, Q4. But that's a Teej sentiment.
Timing's perfect. Next month's June. Well, we'll know if you're credible here very soon.
Hunt of the week. Markets are down, but there's still opportunities around. For this segment, we're setting our scopes on a few different stocks or securities. Put your eye on. Don't shoot your eye out. Teej, you got one for us?
I do, kind of in line with the conversation on the merger and acquisition topic. I am a holder of EA Sports.
It's in the game.
That's right. Ticker EA.
Everybody knows that sound.
Oh, yeah. So EA Sports, I'm sure you heard of them. Gaming developer. They've been making games for, I'm in my mid-30s. They've been making games since the early, Sega Genesis games. Actually, when I was looking into them, believe it or not, 2/3 of their profits come from a lot of like live game purchases. So think microtransactions. So they have some big titles like Apex Legends, Battlefield. So
Madden.
Well, obviously Madden. But yeah, so they have in-game purchases, right? Gun skins and different things of that nature. And believe it or not, 2/3 of their profits come from that kind of source.
Yeah.
instead of the actual software sales from the games they develop. So I did think that was interesting. But I bought EA because Microsoft had shown interest in Activision.
It was a great move, by the way.
Yeah, and so since EA is one of the top gaming developers, the rumor I'm trying to start is maybe there'll be a buyout.
Speculation.
Yeah, that's a fingers crossed scenario. But I have been playing EA games all my life, so I'm a supporter. I'm a gamer. But there is some future growth in the company anyways. They're forecasted to grow at 19.9%. Simply Wall Street shows them at a fair value of $197 per share. They're going for the mid 120s right now. And even if a buyout doesn't ever occur with these guys, one, I just have kind of conviction because, it's video games, man. Who doesn't like video games? We like video games. You grew up on video games. It's nostalgic. It's therapeutic. But you get paid a dividend along the way. It's not an impressive dividend. It's about 0.6%, 17 cents a share. But, that's cool. I get paid to own that stock. I play their games. Can't go wrong.
Safe to say you are long-term on this?
So, yes, I'm a long-term holder on EA Sports. And if I can get the rumor going that there would be a buyout, then...
Oh, we'll start it here. Right now.
How about you, Eric? What you got for us?
Mine is also a speculative. This one's more of a lottery ticket for anyone who wants to take a gamble on something and put a little bit in. You're welcome to.
Thanks, man. Now we know.
We have his express permission. Yeah. I'll just call my wife right now and just let her know. Hey, he said we're welcome to. That means a go ahead.
Yeah, is welcome to the same as yes, babe?
Hey, man, you guys will be thanking me later, okay? It's AUPH, Arena Pharmaceuticals. This goes in line with just mergers and acquisitions, essentially. Recently, they did have a buyout rumor with Bristol Myers Squibb. You saw it jump up to $32 per share. That was where my learning experience went. I should have sold and then rebought back in. But I do think that this is a company that's primed to be purchased. It's a drug company. They have FDA approval for lupus nephritis drug. And they have exclusivity for 15 years, which is a little bit longer than normal. So on top of that, they have $418 million of cash on hand. So they are a company
who doesn't have that much cash on hand. Come on, right?
Well, I don't want to, I wasn't going to say anything. You don't have to. Obviously, Teej is a little braggadocious about
right.
his
dividends,
his net worth. His drip's doing real good.
Yeah, but I do think that this company is primed, and it is a company that is de-risked because they have an FDA-approved drug, and so you could have big biopharm companies really looking to extend or expand on their revenue streams, and this would be a good company to look into. They are also making more money, so each quarter you're seeing them grow. This past quarter they made $21.6 million on their net revenue. So stay tuned. It's a lottery ticket. B, you got one for us?
FUBO TV. I'm sure probably like a year or so ago, more people were familiar with it. I know me and Eric discussed it at that time. I'm glad we didn't do anything with it because we would be getting absolutely crushed right now. It's down 90% year to date.
We did talk about this, but that was strictly because I was trying to find ways to stream the football games for fantasy football. And that was one of the ways.
And invest in what you know, right? So
yeah, I was wondering.
in all seriousness, like I said, down 90% year to date. But actually, I think that is reason to potentially look at this, to follow the theme, to stay true to form as a lottery ticket per se, in the event that they get scooped up by a bigger company, because they are in the streaming services industry, more sports dominant. But as a result, they're also trying to target sports betting as well as a different segment. So definitely a company that could be acquired. And their revenue actually in just 1 year has more than doubled. Their losses have went down by half as well. So their fundamentals are improving. The price is not, but I think at some point the price will catch up.
Okay. All right, guys, in the week ahead, earnings season continues with Walmart and Home Depot. I bring those two up because we do have retail sales numbers that are coming out on Tuesday the 17th. And, markets, well, we've been reacting to just about every kind of news. So just be cautious.
I do love me some Home Depot. In the coming weeks, we do have new segments focused on spotlighting different NFT projects. Stay tuned on our calendar for different release dates. We hope to learn more about your project, your personal stance, providing you a platform to share from. We want to bring the community together.
All right, gang, it's hunting time ahead of a new week of opportunities. Thank you for listening to your 3 Bucks, and connect with us throughout the week on Twitter at 3_Bucks. Got a suggestion? Tweet us. DM us. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, happy hunting.
Thanks again for listening to Comedy by Indie Drop-In Network. If you would like to nominate a comedy podcast to be featured, just send me a tweet at Indie Drop-In. I'd also love to hear if one of our featured podcasts is now your favorite show. Indie Drop-In survives off ad revenue and listener donations. If you would like to contribute, please consider buying me a coffee. Just go to buymeacoffee.com/Indie Drop-In. If you look at the very bottom of the episode description, you will see a link. Indie Drop-In has many other shows that you also might like. Just go to indiedropin.com. All right, we'll see you next week.
Got a suggestion? Tweet us. DM us. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, happy hunting.
Thanks again for listening to Comedy by Indie Drop-In Network. If you would like to nominate a comedy podcast to be featured, just send me a tweet at Indie Drop-In. I'd also love to hear if one of our featured podcasts is now your favorite show. Indie Drop-In survives off ad revenue and listener donations. If you would like to contribute, please consider buying me a coffee. Just go to buymeacoffee.com/Indie Drop-In. If you look at the very bottom of the episode description, you will see a link. Indie Drop-In has many other shows that you also might like. Just go to indiedropin.com. All right, we'll see you next week.